Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got a fun little video for you today. It's getting close to that time of year. Christmas is upon us, so I'm gonna go do a little bit of shopping around at my favorite place, the Ritchie Bros Auction. Now, if you don't know, the Ritchie Bros is the largest auctioneer company in the world. They have auctions going every day, multiple countries every day. Just unfathomably huge. And lucky enough for me, I have an auction yard maybe 10 minutes from my house, so it doesn't really help the projects out any. I usually end up dragging one or two home with me. So we're gonna go out here and take a little look around, see what's coming up in the auction. I think it's going off tomorrow or the next day. I gotta find that out for sure. And maybe we can find something else to work on or play with. Maybe Santa will buy me something. Here we are. The land of abused and neglected iron. I actually used to come out here when I was younger, and they used to drive all the equipment across the auction block for the live auction. So they'd let anybody come out here, and for $100, they'd pay you $100, you drive everything across the block. So you get to drive all this cool old iron. And as a kid, or a younger fella, that was a pretty cool opportunity. But they'd tell you the first thing, check the brakes, and be aware everything's here for a reason. Decent sized Caterpillar wheeled excavator, right next to this teeny little thing. That's cute. Guess it beats a shovel. This is one of the smaller Ritchie Bros locations. So there's usually not too many mid-size excavators here, or even minis. There's, what, 4 here. So that's more than normal, I guess. This 337 actually looks to be in pretty good shape for the age. New decals, paint job, I think. Huh. That'll be interesting to see what that goes for, but I'm sure that it's going to go for more than I'd like to spend on something. The rest of these look like they're pretty well clapped out. Not a whole lot of other construction equipment other than excavators here this time. Only a couple dozers, a grader, one wheel loader, some other miscellaneous stuff down this way. There is a John Deere backhoe here and a couple skid loaders I'm going to take a gander at. While we're walking, we might as well slide past this old kitty cat. Oh yeah. Got some primo weight reduction there. I actually wouldn't mind picking up a wheel loader, but this is a bit bigger than I'd like. Cab's pretty rough on it too. Fenders are going. This thing probably loaded salt. It's pretty rough. And if the price seems right, I am kind of potentially looking at this thing as an alternative to a wheel loader. You know, I'm really not a big fan of backhoes. They're really not great at anything, but would make a decent little loader to have around the farm. They do have their uses. I mean, they come in handy, I guess. The bucket doesn't have teeth on it, so that means the holders are probably wore out. Cylinders are leaking pretty good. I'm guessing the outriggers drift off pretty good because they're ratchet strapped up. That's secure. We'll pull the fluids and see if it starts. Radiator's bone dry. That's a good sign. It's got that factory throttle return linkage here. Oh, she is a gem in here, boys. Oh, there's moss growing in here. If all else fails, I could use it as a greenhouse. 7,800 hours on it. Well, according to the website, it runs and operates, so let's see if we got any juice here. Oh, yep, we got power. It's a little cold out here, I don't know. It wants to. I think it would fire if it had a little more juice. The battery's pretty weak. It's about 32 degrees out here. Yep, price would have to be right for this. There's a couple light plants here that I might be interested in if they go cheap enough. They both appear to be non-running. This one here has the generator torn apart on it, but the engine looks to be complete, so I'm betting the engine does run and the generator has an issue. So if the price is right, you could pick this up and either fix it or have a good little 3-cylinder Kubota to throw on something. This one over here has an Isuzu 4-cylinder in it, and it appears to be complete. I think the battery's just weak on it. The fuel pump runs, but nothing else. So here's one of the big things I came to look at. I'm betting this thing's gonna fetch more than I want to spend, but you know, I try to look at everything that way. If anything goes cheaper than I think it should, I can snag it and either flip it and make a couple bucks or keep it. That's what happened with the crane truck, and you guys all saw how that turned out. Sometimes I can't let stuff go. This TL12 looks to be in really good shape for a Ritchie Brothers unit. We'll jump in here, see if we can't get it to fire up. Window's busted out of it. I take that back. It looked like the frame was still there, but it's not. The window's just rolled up. Plastic's all cracked out around the key switch. We got juice. How many hours? Only 2,200 hours? Yeah, this thing's gonna be out of my price range, I bet. Oh yeah, she came to life. Look, we got radio rigged up in here. Heat and AC? Oh, be spoiled if we had this thing. And this thing has the control set to the H pattern, and I didn't see a changer inside. It must be in the back here. Sprockets are pretty worn on this one. Track also looks fairly tore up here. So probably need new tracks and sprockets, at least on this side. Yep, this side's just as bad. So that's probably the original undercarriage. So that's not too bad, 2,200 hours. This one's a bit more likely to be in my price range. This is an older machine, but actually has a nicer undercarriage on it. This undercarriage looks pretty new. It's roughly the same size as this machine. I think that actually is the same machine, they just changed the model numbers. So we'll inspect this one up a bit. Definitely a little rougher shape, a little more used than abused. But only 2,900 hours on it. Not bad. Got power. Do we have heat on these things? No, no heat. Glow plug light. We're just going for it. Oh yeah. So both of these machines have, you know, similar hours on them, a few hundred different. And my initial impression that this one, though it has more hours, is in better shape. Has a little bit of slop in the attachment plate, but that's not uncommon. They wear out quick. But this thing needs an undercarriage straight away. This thing just needs a bucket. It's pretty much ready to go to work from what I can tell. This one's definitely a cleaner, nicer looking unit. This thing, you know, a little scraped up, a little banged up. It's got a bent and broken fin there. Not too big a deal. Definitely going to be keeping a close eye on this guy. Just maybe Santa will bring that for me for Christmas. Maybe I should step up my crane truck game. These are some serious crane trucks. I bet you that thing's got 120 foot of reach on it. Boys, they got a deuce and a half. Oh. These actually aren't that big of trucks, you know. Being a younger guy, when I first started noticing these things, they seemed like big trucks, but it's actually kind of small. Still would love to have one of these things. 6-wheel drive. If it has the original engine, it'll run on just about anything that's petroleum based. Yeah, just cool, tough little trucks. Let's see if this thing will fire up. They sound fantastic. About as plain Jane and basic as you can get. No, the key was on, so that's not a good start. Well, the battery's dead as a doornail. Only 38,000 miles on the clock, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's original. There's your 6-wheel drive engage, I do believe. Got a 2-speed transfer case down here, and a 5-speed, so it's almost like you got 10 gears. Though it won't start, it was here last year actually, and I remember getting in it and firing it up then, and it sounded pretty good. And it sold in the auction for cheaper than I would have let it go for. I just didn't see it when it went. But it actually stayed here. Nobody came and picked it up apparently, so it's still here. So I'm not afraid of this one. I'm sure it still starts and works. You know, if the price is right. Hard to tell probably on camera, but there's a sticker that was peeled off here that says Toy Pipeline Contractors. Working in the pipeline industry myself, I can tell you buying something secondhand from a pipeline company, usually not your best bet. But really there's not much to go wrong on these things. They're pretty simple. Back here is where the real deals lie. This is the inoperable row. Everything that comes in here that does not run, does not function, gets put back here in the back. And you can get it dirt cheap because people don't want to mess with them most of the time. That's why I got that crane truck so cheap. And there's a couple things in this road that I'm going to look at. First thing I'm looking at in the dead aisle here is this JLG lift. It's actually a little bigger than I'd like to have, but certainly bigger is better, right? Well, I come over here and I notice the hydraulic filter is split. So that can only mean one thing. There is crazy pressure in that system for some reason, which I highly doubt. or that it has been full of water and froze and broken. Pretty likely that it's that one. So what can that mean? That could mean there could be all kind of issues with valves and controls and stuff, busted lines, rust pitting in the system. And once you have rust in the hydraulic system, could be pretty hard to deal with. Yeah. Looking down inside the hydraulic tank here, it appears there's all sorts of water in there. Probably more water than anything else. Let's see, we got a little something to dip in here. Oh yeah. That is mostly water. Ugh. But it hasn't been super cold yet. So probably the only thing that would have frozen is that thing. We haven't had any days that have been below freezing for more than a whole day. You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't really deep froze here yet. So there is a chance that this thing's okay. And there's enough usable parts on it that it'd be worth taking a gamble on. They're pretty simple machines. Not a lot really to go wrong with them. I think the worst thing to do with it would be to troubleshoot the electrical system. I believe the batteries are good because I turned the key on over here. It made a noise when I turned it on before. And that's also a good sign because it tells us that our batteries are probably still good. Well, if the price is right. Here is another one that says that it has been submerged. So good chance that this one was in the same hole that got filled with water as the other one we were just looking at. This one here is much newer, much nicer though, but gonna have the same issues, I bet. Hydraulic system is probably full of water and could have damaged a lot of other important and expensive items. Let's see if we can take a look under her skirt here. Being a newer unit, I'm thinking that this one may be sealed up a bit better. Maybe didn't get as much water in it. Maybe not. I think I see a water line somewhere down in here where the hydraulic is riding on top of the water. So unless this thing was used after it was submerged, all the water should be in the tank. And you wouldn't think that they would try to use something after it's been underwater, but people are idiots. They may have driven it onto a trailer or something like that, so you have water all through the hydraulic drive system. Could be a lot of things to consider there. Oh yeah. The other thing with these is there's a good bit of electronics to them. And yeah, everything is very corroded here. So I wonder if it was submerged with some sort of corrosive something or other. Whatever this thing is, the terminals are corroded straight off of it. Yeah. So it'd be probably a couple days in here at least just cleaning up terminals and stuff before you could get it back to functioning, provided there's nothing else wrong with it. This big relay over here, pretty crusty. A lot of corrosion on that. The motor, good chance that electric motor's pooched with all the corrosion I'm seeing here. You can't see into there very well. Could be savable, could be pooched, hard to say. But if the price is right, I keep saying that. Only 99.8 hours on this unit. So there you go. 99.8 hours. The insurance company paid for that one, I bet. And batteries are pretty well corroded on this side. I would like to know what this thing was submerged with. Batteries are still full and not over full, so I think they were sealed up good. That's a good sign. This has a built-in charger. hard to say. I bet you that thing's probably pooched. Brain box over here. Oh no, that's the charger. I don't know. Probably worth $1,000 or $2. I don't think I'd go much more than that. If it wasn't so new, I wouldn't go that high. I'd probably only go $800 on the other one we looked at. So here we are still in the inoperable aisle with an 8-foot bed, service body on a 3500 Chevy. And I'm looking around it and it's, you know, it's pretty clean, but it's in the inoperable aisle, so I figured, you know, the motor's gone in it or something. It's clearly a pipeline truck. Looking at the bed, there's some giveaway signs there. So pipeline stuff, as I said earlier, pretty well clapped out usually. This one's not too bad. I mean, it's filthy, but it, like, the seats aren't destroyed. It's not a high trim level truck or anything, but it doesn't look like a 300-pound dog sat here and ate the seats or something. And then I hit the key, it fires right up. I don't know why it's here. I looking all around it, I put it in forward and reverse, it backs up, it goes forward. I can't figure out why it's here. Heck, the check engine light isn't even on. I think every vehicle here has to have the check engine light on, right? Nothing. Sounds good. I don't know. This one's going on the watch list for sure. See, this is when it pays to come out here and actually look around, because if that thing's listed on the website as inoperable, I don't know why. So anybody that just buying from the website's gonna think that it doesn't work or doesn't run. And really, you could drive that home. I don't know what's wrong with it. Got these big, massive diesel-powered heaters here. They're in the inoperable aisle, but the Kubota engines on them are low hours, so you know, if something like that goes cheap enough, you can get it, steal the engine out of it, sell it, or use it, and then you've got a whole trailer there you could do stuff with. There's a ton of good pieces, parts in there you could scavenge. Here's the last 3 things I wanted to look at. This behemoth of an old Pettibone crane, kind of like the one Andrew Camerata had. It also inoperable. This kitty cat roller here, and this another 1.5 deuce. It's just the cabin chassis, no bed on it. It's got a Screaming Demon Detroit in it. Pretty rough looking. Doesn't mean that it is. Not a fan of how you get in and out of these things, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, what a pain. Now this thing's already, I can tell you, I'm not interested in this thing. It would have to be next to free. Oh man, yeah. No, not interested. It would be better for off-road use than the truck crane, and it can lift a lot more and go a lot further, but it's too much of a project, I'm venturing to say. The cat roller here has the head removed from it. I don't even see it anywhere, so apparently you just don't get the head with it. It's a nice sized roller though. There's your exhaust manifold and stuff, but no head. Probably a 3406. Yeah, I think those were the bad ones. 3406 motors that were actually made by Mitsubishi and hard to get parts for, hard to get rebuilt. This thing doesn't look like it's in bad shape. Yeah, a little dinged up, not bad. Wonder if it runs. Oh, she's a beaut. Oh yeah. Well, we got juice. Maybe it will start. Out here. Alright, well it runs, but it sounds like it wants to run away, so we'll go ahead and shut that down before we blow something up. But it runs, so that's worth bidding on. Cool. Well guys, there you go. That was the end of my shopping experience that day. They came and kicked me out right afterwards. They were shutting down for the day. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments which one of these piles of junk you think I should bring home, or if you think I'm absolutely crazy for bringing any of this stuff home or even going to look at it. Also, let's take some bets on which one the wife is going to be most upset about if I come home with. I'm betting the Pettibone crane would really grind her gears. So the auction's tomorrow, and fingers crossed, if the price is right, I might get some cool new projects and some content coming for you guys out of this. So until then, you guys stay safe, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.